So exactly just how strong is Gamora in the live action MCU? There seems to be a big inconsistency of just how strong. Welcome back to Comic Power. This is Comic Killer 72, and today you're watching my first episode of a new skit called Plot Holes, where I highlight some things from comic book media that just does not make sense. And today we're going to look at Gamora's power level in the Guardians of the Galaxy franchise. So just exactly how strong is she anyway? Apparently the eye test says she's very strong. You probably remember this scene in Guardians of the Galaxy Part 2 where they had to take on the Beast at the beginning of the movie. Her shoulder blaster was ineffective, so she had to do it manually and take out a sword and do this. Man, that's gross, but it gives us a great insight on what Gamora can do. There's also that perpetrator lineup scene in Guardians Part 1. Before they come to Guardians, they're actually adversaries, and there's a bio about her that's on the screen, but it's only there for about 2 seconds, so I'm going to freeze it so we can take a look at it. Okay, zoom in. A little more. Okay, there you go. It shows what species she is, how old she is, and her enhancements include cybernetic appendages, ocular and respiratory implants, enhanced neurological system. That's a lot going on there. On the outside, she may just look like a regular humanoid female, but in reality, she's about as strong as him at the minimum and about as strong as him at the maximum. And they refer to her as the deadliest woman in the galaxy. Just like Nebula, she's the adopted daughter of Thanos, who saw promise in this little girl when he was pillaging her planet. So the enhancements came from him, and he made her one of his most trusted enforcers. Hey, we already know that Thanos isn't the father of the year. He's right there with Jamie Spears, Britney Spears' father, and Joe Jackson, Michael Jackson's father. Just horrible fathers. Her stats and her performance prove that. So that brings us to our plot hole, where they get sent to prison after the scuffle on Xandar. And those prisoners already there, of course, know who she is because of her reputation. And as a mercenary who's been working for Thanos, she's responsible for a lot of suffering that they endured. The killing of loved ones, pillaging, rampaging. Of course, they want revenge, and of course, they're going to try her. That part makes sense. But what doesn't make sense is how she's so easily captured by some rando prisoners. Remember this scene?
Gamora, consider this a death sentence for your crimes against the galaxy.
Hold up, bro. That's a huge plot hole. The same woman who can kill a 100-foot tall monster with a sword, the same woman with all the cyborg enhancements, is easily taken captive by 3 randos with knives in a prison, and then Drax shows up and chokes her out like a rag doll. I know Drax is pretty strong. He didn't get the name the Destroyer for nothing, but she doesn't even put up a fight, and she's supposed to be a lieutenant of Thanos, the most dangerous man in the galaxy. And then Star-Lord shows up, who has no motivation at this time to free her because they're still enemies, negotiates with Drax not to kill her, but she's supposed to be the deadliest woman in the galaxy. Can she fight for herself? She's like a damsel in distress here. She's not supposed to be Snow White or Rapunzel who's saved by some dude. She's supposed to be Milan or Brave who fights for herself. Remember this line when she described herself to Star-Lord, exactly who she was?
I'm a warrior and an assassin. I do not dance.
So much for the warrior and assassin part. You got taken captive by 3 randos that don't appear to have any enhancements. You wasn't prepared when they showed up, when you know they was coming for you. You're about to get stabbed and choked out and killed by Drax without even putting up a fight. And some man you don't even know who's a competitor for the same object as you has to beg Drax for your release. This is painfully inconsistent on who Gamora is supposed to be. But you may say, hey, Comic Power, earlier in that scene, didn't she rally and turn the tables on Drax and that prisoner? And yes, she did have a moment where she had a comeback, but there's 2 problems with this. Number 1, as I stated before, she should have not been taken captive so easily by 3 random prisoners. And number 2, when she did have the advantage, she decided to drop her weapons. That makes her incredibly stupid. And no person trained and raised by Thanos is going to be stupid, especially on the field of battle. This makes no sense for who her character is, which has already been established in the movie. So she deserved to get choked out by Drax for being this incredibly dumb. But once again, her strength level has been very inconsistent over the course of the Guardians adventure. Remember Guardians 2 and her battle with Nebula when she did this? I'm not the smartest man in the world, but I think that weapon is pretty freaking heavy, and the projectiles that it's shooting has a lot of torque. Only an advanced individual would be able to do something like this. So, to say that the same woman who can do this was abducted by 3 random prisoners is ridiculously inconsistent and a real plot hole for the franchise. If you ever see James Gunn in a con, be sure to ask him about this. So there you have it, folks, some compelling evidence compiled by Comic Power that Gamora's strength level is all over the place. Her enhancements are supposed to give her super strength, incredible speed, great vision, and endurance. And she's supposed to also be incredibly brave. Remember that time she got stabby with Thanos in an Infinity War? She had no chance against him even before he had Infinity Stones. But remember, she's a warrior and an assassin. She does not dance. And she threatened to break Mantis' jaw if she touched her. And when Quill tried to seduce her with his music, she wasn't falling for his pelvic sorcery. I'm curious to hear your feedback about my theory. What do you think about her power level? Do you think it's inconsistent as well? Be sure to speak up in the comment section and let me know your opinion. I always like to hear feedback from the people who are watching my videos. And while you're here, be sure to check out one of my other previous videos about another butt-kicking female superhero named Rogue. At the time I made this video in early 2023, we're still waiting for the big-name X-Men characters to be recast for the MCU. And learn more about the origin of Rogue here. Until next time, this is Comic Killer 72 for Comic Power saying bye-bye.